A house without warmth. Meera learned the sound of footsteps before she learned the sound of love. Every evening, when the sun slipped behind the dusty rooftops and the birds returned to their nests, Meera's heart began to race. The house would fall silent, as if even the walls were holding their breath. Then came the footsteps, heavy, impatient, angry. Raghav was home. She would quickly wipe her hands on the edge of her sari, check the stove, straighten the cushions, and lower her eyes before he entered. No matter how perfect everything looked, it was never enough. Raghav never asked how her day had been. He never noticed the cracks on her fingers from scrubbing floors, or the dark circles beneath her eyes from sleepless nights. He only noticed mistakes: too much salt, too little oil, a glass placed slightly to the left. "What kind of woman are you?" he would snap. "Even a simple meal is beyond you." Meera would stand quietly, her hands folded, her eyes fixed on the floor. Years ago, she had tried to explain, to speak, to defend herself. Every attempt had been crushed beneath his cruel words. So she learned silence. Before marriage, Meera had dreams. Small ones, gentle ones. She wanted a home filled with warmth, shared laughter, and respect. She imagined her husband as a partner, someone who would protect her when the world grew harsh. Instead, the harshness lived inside her own home. Raghav believed kindness was weakness. He believed a wife existed to serve, to obey, to disappear into the background of his life. If Meera smiled too much, he accused her of being shameless. If she cried, he called her dramatic. If she stayed quiet, he called her useless. Nothing she did ever reached his heart, because his heart had long ago closed its doors. Sometimes, at night, Meera would sit by the window after Raghav fell asleep. The moonlight would spill across the floor, soft and forgiving. She would press her fingers against the glass and whisper questions to the darkness. "Is this all my life will be?" Her tears fell silently, soaking into the fabric of her sari. She cried without sound because she had learned that even tears could anger him. There were days when Raghav's cruelty went beyond words. A harsh shove, a plate thrown against the wall, a grip on her wrist so tight it left bruises shaped like memories she could never forget. Afterward, he would act as if nothing had happened. Meera would clean the mess. She always cleaned the mess. No one saw her suffering. To the world, Raghav was a respectable man. To neighbors, Meera was the quiet wife who rarely stepped outside. People praised her patience without knowing the cost of it. Her parents lived far away. She wrote letters she never sent, afraid of worrying them, afraid of being told to adjust, afraid of being sent back to the same cage with a different lock. One winter evening, Meera fell ill. Fever burned through her body, and her limbs trembled with weakness. She asked Raghav softly if he could bring her medicine. He looked at her with irritation. "Stop pretending," he said. "Women like you are always sick when there's work to do." That night, she lay alone on the cold bed, shivering, listening to him sleep peacefully beside her. In that moment, something inside her broke, not loudly, but completely. She realized that love was not absent by accident. It was absent by choice. Years passed like this, slow, heavy, suffocating. Meera aged faster than time intended. Her smile faded. Her voice softened until it barely existed. She became a shadow moving through her own life. Yet even in her brokenness, Meera remained gentle. She fed stray cats outside the house when no one was watching. She watered the dying plants every morning, whispering encouragement to them as if they could hear. She found small ways to keep kindness alive, because if she let go of that, she feared she would disappear entirely. Raghav never noticed. One day, Meera overheard neighbors laughing together, sharing tea and stories. The sound pierced her chest. She realized she had not laughed freely in years. That night, she looked at her reflection. Tired eyes, faded hope, a woman shaped by endurance rather than love. And for the first time, she felt sympathy for herself. Not shame. Not guilt. Sympathy. She understood that she was not weak for surviving. She was strong for lasting this long without becoming cruel herself. Raghav's words could wound her body, but they could not erase her humanity. The story does not end with miracles. Raghav does not suddenly change. Life is not always kind enough to offer neat endings. But something changes inside Meera. She begins to value her own pain. She begins to believe that her suffering matters. And in that belief, a quiet strength is born, fragile, but real. Because even in a house without warmth, Meera's heart learned how to survive the cold. And that, perhaps, is the saddest truth of all.